Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. And in this video, I want to walk you through a very, very important lesson. And one of these things where, as day traders, we must avoid doing this at all costs. And I'm going to show you with a real life trade of mine that proves out exactly why this is a very, very important thing that we must understand and always keep at the forefront of our minds. Because if you fall into this trap, it's not that all of a sudden you've lost money, because it's actually the opposite, as you're going to see here. But what happens is you go into a mental state where the next step could be revenge trading, could be forcing trades, could be increasing position size. And all those things are just not where you want to be as a day trader. So, at the core, really, we have a very, very important choice that we've got to ask ourselves as traders, because we have two pathways that we can follow when it comes to the trade management department of just being a trader. So yes, there's always the scanning. You've got to find situations, you've got to find setups, and all that is important. Don't get me wrong, but an oftentimes overlooked part of trading is trade management. What do you do after you get into the trade? So you find the setup, you buy, you go short, whatever, but you're now in the trade. How are you going to manage the trade? And this is where things can get very, very sketchy, and why you need to avoid going down one of these pathways. So the two pathways that you have to choose from are you going to follow your P&L, profit and losses, that number that fluctuates up and down? Are you going to follow that after you get into the trade? Or are you going to follow the chart? Because the chart, assuming you're a technical trader, is where your trade plan is. And if that's where your trade plan is, you would think that, okay, you should probably be watching that, if that's going to help guide you with the trade plan. So, yes, we don't want to be trading. We don't want to be watching and being guided by our P&L. If you've ever heard somebody say, hey, don't trade your P&L, or whoops, I traded my P&L, and you're wondering why did that person seem to kind of have the negative connotation? Because it's flat out the wrong thing to do. And like I said, I'm going to show you here. We want to be trading the chart. That's what the wisdom is. That's where the smart people are at. They're developing trade plans with the chart, and then, dare I say, they're following the chart as they manage the trade, which, as you're about to see here, I totally failed to do. Now, let me set up a little bit of context at this point in my day. And this comes from, I should know, just one of the playlists I have is just live trading, where I record myself. And there are thousands of videos now on that channel, or excuse me, on that playlist. That's part of the channel. So you can check that out if you're like, oh, that was cool to see all this. Yeah, there's a whole lot more. But the context of this exact scenario was I was currently down $400. So down 400 with I guess technically a little bit up, because I was at $5 there. But you get the point. For argument's sake, I was down $400 on the day. And then I'm getting ready to take another trade, and my eyeballs don't watch this. My eyeballs all of a sudden drop straight down to there, to the P&L, and I start watching that number at that moment in time. And as we just discussed, that would be the wrong pathway to choose. But let me show you what I mean. So I'm now in, and I'm watching that number down there, watching that number, watching that number. And what am I watching that number for? Well, I want to see, can this number here at least get up to 400, if not higher than 400? Because if it can get to 400, okay, now at least this is back to break even. But if this number here can go up and above 400, well, that means I'm in the green, and that means this loss right here is wiped out. So that is exactly what I'm looking for. I want to see this number ideally get up over $400. So we'll continue on with the trade. And just like that, looky there. I am now out without any regard to the chart at all. But I am now actually up $75. So there we go. I wiped away the red trade, didn't I? I'm back in the green. Well, now let's turn our attention back to where the eyes should have been the entire time, and that is watching the chart, letting the chart dictate our decisions, and letting the chart guide us in managing the trade. And let's see what happened here. So keep in mind, I got out. I'm going to extend this out basically right here. And we'll call it slightly above 19,800. But that line is representing where I got out, because I was trading the P&L, because my eyes were down there where they should not have been. So just keep an eye on that white line there, and we'll see how things continue to play out. And again, I wanted the price to go up. Oh boy. Okay, well, yeah, got a little bit of oh, okay. Okay, the white line is kind of defeating the purpose here, so I'll just get rid of it. But you get the idea. I was down here quite a bit lower, and look at this move. Look at the move up here. And it's not done. It's going to keep on going. So let's just continue to watch that because, again, the chart is what should be guiding your trades. The chart is the pathway that you should be following. And on the live video itself, I started to kind of comment on this stuff like, uh-oh, I was totally watching the trade. So now I'm pointing out down here, look at this. I wanted to see, I was, right there, I'm talking about how I was watching the P&L, but I wanted to do a strict video for this concept. But yes, I am definitely talking about that within this video itself. But like I said, this is such an important topic that, in my opinion, it deserved its own video of itself. But look at that. Now it's pushing up even higher. So just continue to watch right there where I am talking about. And look at this thing. It's still pushing higher. Look at this thing. Look at that. Look at that move. Insane. I am trading futures here. Now that's not the important part because this could apply to any asset that you're trading. But I just mentioned that because for those of you that trade futures, you are looking and seeing all these points and realizing, wow, that is a huge move as it went as high as 19,890. And I got out at basically 19,800. So for you futures traders out there, again, this will mean just something for them. That was basically 90 points. Now, I'm not saying I would have played it perfectly, but that was about 90 more points that this thing moved. And you'll just have to take my word for it if you're not in futures. That's a whole lot of potential money left on the table, like a whole lot, especially when you factor this all occurred, this big movement happened. As you were just watching it, that was just a mere couple of minutes. So 90 points on the NQ in a few minutes. Again, for you futures traders out there, I don't need to say anymore. You know that was a crazy amount of money that was left on the table. And that is exactly why we don't want to follow the P&L. We want to watch the chart. The chart is where we developed the trade plan. The chart is where we should manage the trade plan. And I know that, but still, the human mind, sometimes you just want to get those losses back, and your mind goes, and your mind and eyes go directly to where it shouldn't be. And as you saw here, wow, I left a lot on the table. Before I go, I want to personally invite you to get signed up, though, for this free live online class. And I realize the irony here, like, why would anybody want to sign up when I just showed this that made me look like a total moron? So I get if you're like, I'm not signing up for that. Totally get it. So I'm aware of kind of the comedic dark irony in all of this. But nonetheless, if you are interested in learning more about the tools I'm using to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. You can go to claytrader.com/live or just check out the link down in the description area, and that will let you know when the next live class is. So I'd love to see you there, and so definitely get signed up. And then as far as these videos are concerned, if you appreciate the transparency, hit that like button. It's not easy to show these per se because, yeah, I get it. I didn't look very intelligent on that. But you know what? It happens, and I want you to avoid doing these sorts of things because, yes, I'm not talking in theory. In the real world, these can be the results that come from it. So definitely be sure to always be following the right pathway, and that is the technical chart and not your P&L. So as always, thank you for watching. Any questions, leave those down below in the comment section, and make sure you go get signed up for that free class. Take care.